everybody. So happy to see all of you today. I am Lindsey Metselaar. I'm the host of We Met at Acme, and I have an amazing panel today. We're gonna have so much fun. Will you guys go down the line and introduce yourself and what your podcast is?
Sure. My name's Aurora Culpo. My podcast is called Barely Filtered. We talk about everything from dating to health and wellness, but I think dating is probably the most interesting right now. Yeah.
Hey guys, my name's Eyal Booker. I have a podcast called It's Not That Deep, and it gets pretty deep on the podcast. It's all about the male human experience, breaking down toxic masculinity and dating, sex, and everything in between.
Awesome. Hey guys, I'm Kennedy Eurich, and I'm the host of the Dumb or Blonde podcast. And to be honest with you, I don't really know what my podcast is about. It's kind of everything you go through in your 20s, because I never know what I'm going through, and I feel like you guys are all living it with me. So,
Love it, love it. Okay. Yes, round of applause for everyone.
woo.
Hype us up. Okay, Ken, we're gonna start with you because I feel like I can put you on the spot since you have a boyfriend, and I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
he's in the audience right now listening.
Yes, he is. He was like, "Do you want me to leave?" I was like, "No, it's okay. It should be okay, I think."
We'll see, TBD. What are the hardest parts about dating now that you have kind of heard from friends that are single, and then we'll warm up these two to talk about theirs.
I think specifically for me, dating in Austin, Texas is definitely, men don't want to grow up there, which I'm not saying the women want to grow up there either, but I feel like there's always kind of this like cocky attitude about like, well, I'm not looking for anything serious. And it's like, you think I'm looking for something serious? And I feel like Hinge kind of makes things a little more difficult in the dating scene right now. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can say. Men not wanting to grow up, we call it Peter Pan syndrome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've heard about that in Austin.
It's bad.
That's tough.
That doesn't get better in other places.
Oh no.
Yeah, I feel like everyone says it's everywhere, like everywhere you go.
I don't know. I do feel like New York City is the best place to date. I know that's a controversial thing to say, but what do you guys think? Yeah? Yeah.
I think New York is a good place to date.
Okay, tell us
Yeah.
why. Tell us
I
about your
think-
dating experience, Eyal.
My dating experience, wow. I think dating is difficult because you're taking the two most complex parts of a human being and then you're putting them together, so it's never going to be easy. I think coming from the UK, people are a lot bolder in the US. They're more forthcoming to go up to somebody and chat to them and just get to know them, whereas it's a little bit more standoffish in the UK. So personally, I enjoy dating in America. I mean, it's hard, and I do hear about this Peter Pan syndrome thing a lot. And I think it comes down to less about people wanting to grow up and more around the fact that everywhere we turn, there's just like, there's options and there's just constant people coming at you and seeing it on social media and stuff like that. And I think it makes it difficult for people generally because it's hard to commit.
So if there are so many options, if I were a girl who wanted to date you, how would I stand out among these options?
Are you asking for a friend?
Of course.
I think honesty is the most important thing, and I think when talking to someone, when getting to know someone, to be honest about what you're looking for and whether you're looking for something more casual or more serious, and kind of gauge what they say and hope that they're honest too, and not just saying the things that they want to say in order to get you into bed.
Yeah, we can all hope. And Aurora, your dating experience is a little different because you're dating with two kids who are absolutely gorgeous, by the way, not surprisingly. So how does that affect you when dating? And if somebody doesn't know you have kids for some reason, maybe they're living under a rock, when do you bring that up?
Oh, no. That's something you have to disclose right away. That's like right on my dating profile and everything. And I mean, for me, it helps to weed out the people who generally don't want to be around children, because that's not something that I'm, willing to give up for dating. They're going to be with me. And I think in a lot of ways, it actually makes it easier, because if I'm going to take time away from being with my kids, it's going to be for something that I really want to do and that I'm really serious about. So although I'm not able to, what I hear from people who have had success with dating is that they treat it like a job. Like they line it up every night of the week, they have a date with a different person, and they're really being serious about it. When you have kids, you can't really do that. So I think I'm not dating in as great quantity, but the quality has to be there in order for me to take time away.
Yeah. And we'll start with you again. When you're in New York City, because you're not here all the time, But when you are, where are you going out to potentially meet someone?
Oh God, no! Today I went for dim sum, so with my managers. No, and last time I was here, I hung out with you. We did a pod talk. No, I'm not. You guys, I'm not doing it right. I could make more of an effort. Don't do as I do. Just do as I say. For one thing, definitely. Last time I was here, I ended up like at a bar in Brooklyn at like 2 a.m. and I don't drink, so it wasn't the vibe, and I didn't find the love of my life there either. Maybe he's here though.
Maybe. And you're open to suggestions from maybe the rest of the panel on where to be going out right now.
I don't think anybody should be taking my dating advice. Like when I found out I was on the dating panel, I was like, wait, can we be serious for a minute? I was like, I'm on the dating panel?
But you landed your boyfriend, who seems like a nice guy. I met
yeah,
him for
you know, we've been through some
briefly.
things, but
How
he's a
did
great
you
guy.
meet him?
The bar. Like if I'm being honest, like every other 20-something-year-old at the bar.
What was his opening line? Or did you go up to him?
Well, we had a mutual friend that kind of introduced us, and then we started chatting, and then next thing you know, but I had this like little issue where I kind of get like really freaked out, so I brought him back to my house and then was like, all of a sudden, like, you have to leave. And he was like, what? I was like, I don't know, I'm a little high right now, like, you gotta go. But then he came back for a second date.
Well, I feel like honestly that's a turn on because you left him with an experience that was unique,
yeah.
you know?
Well, he said he's never had that happen before. A girl just look at him and be like, you need to leave right now.
Right. No, it's like the blowjob ghost guy that I told. Didn't I tell you about it?
He was a ghost? Or the
No, on your podcast. Remember I told this story about this guy got a blowjob by this girl and then she ghosted him.
Yeah.
And he was so perplexed by that because it's usually the other way around that he fell in love with her and like has been looking for her ever since.
Makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. So just be weird, I think is the bottom line. Eyal, when you're
Give a blowjob and then never talk.
Yeah, exactly.
and you'll have him always wondering, is it something about his penis?
Right.
Which is
honestly, let him
Won't get
wonder.
over
Let him wonder. When you're here in the city, like you are now, I feel like I was looking at some stories of you with some friends kind of out the past few nights. Where have you been going?
I mean, Halloween is a crazy thing in America in general, and it's like 2 weeks of just pure partying and going out, which is quite fun. And you get to dress up, so it gives you a little bit of like an alter ego. You kind of feel a little bit more confident because you're not in your usual clothes and in that kind of skin. I like to go to dive bars. I like to go to bars in Soho. Last night, I had a little bit of a late night. I went to the Nines, but just really like, I don't have many friends here, but the friends I do, I rely on them and they kind of just show me around. But America has a lot of bars, and I feel like everyone likes to go out, and if you drink, then have a few drinks, take a couple of shots, and, you know, look pretty and see what happens.
I love it. All right, let's talk about some first date situations. Ken, we'll start with you over there. What is the perfect place for a first date? Where did you and your man go on your first date, other than that, situation?
Well, first date was like a nice restaurant. And I feel like that's always easy because I like to talk, and if a man can't talk to me, like we can't, that's where it ends. You know what I mean? Like I feel like I've gone on a couple dates before where we're awkwardly staring at each other, and I can talk to a brick wall. So if somebody's being completely fucking silent and I'm asking you a question and they're just like staring at me and giving me one-word answers, we can't do this, you know? So anywhere I can
How would you get out of that situation? Because I feel like we've all been there.
Well, I know I've done it. So you were like, oh my God, my friends are all going to this bar, like we should meet up. And luckily he had friends already going there, and then you get there and then you just kind of split. You know? You're like, I'm gonna go say hi to my friends, I'll be back while he's with his friends, and then you just kind of never come back.
So you bring him
That's
with
crazy.
you. To
No,
a
but it's
place.
like
That's crazy.
it's like the easiest way to get out of it, and then the next day you're like, oh my God, sorry, like things, I'm an Irish goodbyer. To even like my own friends, I will Irish goodbye till the day that I die.
But I actually think that's way nicer than what I was going to say, which is just be like, I have to get up early and go.
No, just make up an excuse. You can't just ghost
I'm
the guy.
Well, no.
His
What
friends
Ken
are
is saying
there.
is like she brought him to a party
Yeah,
and
he's
then
so
left him.
excited to show you to his friends. And
If
then
he
it's
was
like,
more
"Oh, I'm going
excited,
to the
he should have brought
toilet."
more to the table, because that awkward
play.
dining experience was like borderline miserable.
Fair play.
This is why I don't think you should ever commit to a full meal of food on a first
Agreed.
date. I
No,
don't do
I
that
actually
anymore.
agree with that. I agree with that. My first date with my husband was coffee, and it was so low stakes. Like we
You guys never
literally
like
just
getting
had
a free
coffee.
meal though? Like I love that shit. That's the best part about being single to me. I'm like,
of
where do I
course.
want to eat tonight? Like the world is my oyster.
Of
you know?
course, and I agree. Free meals are amazing,
I'm
but
always paying. So
you might be
feels
stuck
like-
with someone. You might be stuck with someone for hours.
Yeah, but you can eat quickly.
And
You
usually
can.
I can talk to
You can
anybody. So if
quick.
I can't talk to you, there's like a serious issue going on, you know?
Yeah. Well, that's why one of my rules is no more than 2 hours on a date. Like, don't
Okay.
spend more than 2 hours on a first or second or
Depends
third
how
date.
well it's going. No?
No, because if it's going really well, then especially go away. Like, especially leave them wanting more.
Yeah, it would leave us wanting more for sure.
See,
but
see, ladies?
I don't know.
He's
I don't
backing me
think
up.
dinner for a first date is the right move.
No.
I just think that, like, eating is quite a personal thing, and then, like, I don't know, you go to a messy place, or like you're chewing with your mouth open, or it's
No,
Like,
it's
that's so British.
Yeah, you're like, wrap it up in a bow.
someone's judging
Like
me on
you're
how
using
I
the
eat.
wrong spoon.
Well, that was one of the questions that I was going to ask you guys. Do you eat, like, to eat or not to eat on a first date is the question, really.
you might be stuck eating with me for the rest of your life. So if I'm like a disgusting, terrible eater and that turns you off, it's probably like gonna end there.
Right.
'Cause I'm
Yeah, but they're things that we can work on in a relationship.
Oh, you know what? Like that's not me. How I eat, not one of them. I fear.
Well, and I'm curious the male perspective. If we went on a date and I ordered wings and I was like licking my fingers.
Oh, hot,
Hot?
yeah.
Oh,
If
like
you're
that?
hot and I'm attracted to you,
No,
and you're eating wings and licking your fingers in front of me, I mean, what?
I agree. I feel like women, especially, we're too scared to have more than a salad on a first date sometimes. But it's so hot if you order the burger.
I think it's sexier if you're going for dinner and you actually order food and you eat, as opposed to like we make this effort, we go for dinner, and then you're like being really mindful because you're overly conscious, which of course I understand. But it's like if we're going for dinner, then let's eat, let's enjoy the food. You know, it's the whole experience.
I'll
of
be
it.
like, are you gonna eat that? Because
Yeah.
I'll take that
Like,
too.
I eat. If I'm going for food, I'm eating.
Yeah.
And I want somebody to eat with me and enjoy it.
I think it's also a pretty good form of birth control too, because like you're not gonna sleep with somebody on a first date if you just ate a giant burger and like you're not gonna feel that
Yes,
hot.
exactly.
So maybe it is a good tactic.
Maybe
No,
that's why
that
it's
is a
not going
great
well for me.
tactic. A great tactic. Also, if we're while we're on the subject of birth control, not like shaving or waxing if you want to, not feel pressure to go into the bedroom is genius.
It is, unless you get drunk and forget that you did
Yeah.
it, because that might have been part of my past.
Uh-huh.
But I
fear-
mean, then you kind of just have to own it, and you're like, well, that's in. Like, and
Yeah.
if you're a real man, then you like that.
Oh, real men don't care at all. They're just happy to be there.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that was a later question, but I guess we're getting right into it. Sex on a first date, yes or no?
I don't go into it wanting to do it, but sometimes it happens. You know what I mean? It's never like I'm fucking on this first date. It's like if it gets there, I'm kind of like, I didn't want it to end here, but it is, you know? It's a vibe. You gotta go off the vibe. That's what I'm realizing is I'm way too immature compared to you guys.
Wait,
You
how
guys
old
are like
are you
going
again,
in,
Ken?
thinking about this. Like I would eat the food in front of a man, not fucking think twice. I would go in unshaved, not think like, I don't have like steps in my mind, I
Wait,
feel.
and you're in your 20s. How
I'm
old
in my
are you?
20s, and I think that's probably,
Wait, tell us your age.
I'm 24.
Okay, 24, and
Yes.
then Eyal,
I'm 29.
29.
35.
Okay, so we have like a little
Oh, yeah.
range here.
Yeah.
I love that for us. It is interesting to hear from your perspective, Ken, because I feel like
Things are kind of messy when you're in your 20s, you know what I mean? I'm like, I
Right.
think the older I am, you obviously pay attention to things right now, but right now you're like, I don't know if any man's gonna be my husband, you know? So I'm like,
well, I feel like when you're 24, following the dating rules is a little bit more out the window.
Yeah.
Because you're not trying to get married.
they're like, if it happens, it happens. I guess.
I kind of disagree because I feel like in my 20s I was always dating to find like the father of my children. I guess it's what your goal is. Like I was dating to be married to find somebody to have kids with. Now that I'm like divorced and already have kids, I'm like, oh, I can actually pick somebody that I really like and like there's
Yeah.
no timeline. But I did sleep with him on the first date like 5 times, and we were together for 10 years. So like I don't know. I have no answer.
I mean, it's really, I think anyone who listens to We Met at Acme knows that I'm a no sex on the first date kind of gal, but not because I'm sex negative, more because it's hot to build the tension.
Yes.
Because if you're gonna sleep with them, it's gonna happen if you're continuing to see them.
I agree with that now also, and I think if there is any kind of rejection that ends up happening, you end up kind of hating yourself more if you feel like you've given
Yes.
them more than they earned.
That's so
and that's
true.
why I don't do it.
That's so
at
true.
this point.
Yeah. Eyal, have you dated anyone seriously that's up with you on the first date?
Yeah, I have dated. I think sex, as long as it's what you actually want to do in the moment and you're not doing it to make somebody else happy and kind of fulfill a need that you think is going to get you further in a relationship, then I think, it's part of human desire and we were all here to kind of do what we do as well. But yeah, I have dated people that I've had sex with on the first date. If somebody takes their time, that's also okay. For me personally, it's about that desire to want each other, and then exploring that however it comes naturally.
What's too long to wait, if that's possible?
I mean, how long is a piece of string? It's like, it depends on how much
Give us
I'm
a
into
number.
that
How many
person.
dates? Like
I
10
don't-
dates?
No, but it's so not that simple, and
10
it's not that
dates,
black
and
white.
you've
no.
already gone
But
back
if I
to
am
each other's place.
obsessed with her head over heels, and I'm like, wow, I'm gonna marry this girl, then she can keep me waiting for fucking years.
Wow, for years.
Yeah, as long as there's a little.
We gotta
bit
put
of
that
fun,
to the test.
As long as there's a little bit of playtime.
We'll put that to the test.
I heard about a couple that did that, and every time they got really horny, they ate a raw potato. Supposedly that works. I don't know.
That's crazy.
Are they religious?
Yeah, something. I don't know.
I think there's so much more to it than just sex, right? And there's so many more things that can come into play, and so it's about that
Blowjobs?
desire. What did you say?
Yeah, she said
like blowjobs and then
blowjobs.
disappearing.
Well, sex is more than like penis and vagina.
Yes.
Sex can be.
No, it's
And
true.
it's that
It's true.
dance,
But I
it's
do
that-
feel like you need to know if your sex is good before you marry someone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
not a couple
So-
of years. Maybe I retract it. 'Cause
Yeah, a little retraction. Okay, what is our go-to outfit formula for a date? Ken, talk to me about yours.
I feel like if it's wintertime, we're doing jeans. I always wear the same Doc Martens literally every day, black leather jacket, and like a little top. I feel like simple usually is more of like my vibe on a first date because my personality's a lot. So I kind of gotta, I gotta keep it calm somewhat, and like the exterior of me is usually a little more calm, but
Love it.
love it.
Yeah.
For me, it's about what I feel most comfortable in. I think I have like it's gonna sound crazy, I'm thinking it and then I'm gonna say it out loud, but like a dating uniform. And it's like what I wear to go on a date because it's what I feel most confident and like comfortable in my own skin. And it's pretty much kind of what I'm wearing now,
Yeah,
slightly. Yeah.
I like that. And what about you, Aurora? Are you wearing this on a first date?
I might just to freak him out a little because I feel like some kind of like school maid or I don't know, principal or somebody who's gonna whip you. Yeah, I don't know, something that I'm comfortable in. Like definitely not heels. Nothing. Don't do anything weird to your face. I've done that before. I like if you get any kind of like injection. Yeah, you don't want to do anything where there's bruising or no. I generally like nothing that's too booby either.
Yes,
I've gone on
agreed.
dates before where I'm like they're just looking at.
No, you got to save the goods for later. Let them earn it, and then be so surprised. Ooh, I didn't even know.
I didn't even know that you had that over
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
And it's a distraction for us.
Totally.
You know?
Yeah. See, he's admitting it. What about perfume and cologne? Are we still wearing that, guys? I don't know. People talk about this toxic stuff. I
Oh
don't
my
buy
God,
into
fuck
it.
no. I'm like spraying myself. Like I'm
Yeah.
kind of like drenching it like to the point where I walk past people and they're like,
Yeah, yeah.
like I want to smell like
What scent? Let's talk about scents.
nothing too crazy. Like I love the smell of like YSL Libre. It's a classic, but I feel like that's one that's like very like when other people wear it and they pass me, it's like pungent. So anything I think but that. I've been getting a lot of compliments on Perfect by Marc Jacobs. I'll say that.
Okay.
That one is like random. I've had like people stop me and be like, "What is that?"
I love that.
So that's the scent of the moment.
Okay. Eyal.
Scent is very, very important for me. Kilian Paris Angel Shares. That's my date.
Oh, that's an expensive one. Chic.
You got to invest in yourself.
Yeah, you
right?
got to invest. You got to invest.
You want to smell sexy.
Yeah.
And look
No, you're
sexy.
right. You're right. Sexy is expensive, I think.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
I don't know. I totally disagree. This might be controversial. I don't wear perfume. I actually don't wear deodorant. I don't think I smell. I just smell.
You smell nice.
Thank you.
That was sexual.
Thank God.
Got a
Hey,
room.
stop it, guys. Stop it.
single.
Stop
They
it.
are single
Wait,
and
when you-
You're a little young for me.
No, guys, I was gonna wait to tell you
Hey.
this. They're compatible because Aurora's an Aries and Eyal's a Leo.
I am.
Yeah,
and
but-
you were talking about whipping.
But what's your rising sign? Do you know?
I do. I learned this recently. I'm a Libra.
Okay, that's
I'm a Libra rising, and I'm a Scorpio
That's
moon.
really good for you
Scorpio
guys.
moon is,
That's
like,
really-
dark
Wait, Ken,
and-
what's your sign?
I'm a Leo.
Oh, of course.
I know.
Yo. Well, we're all
My gal.
fire, but you're not. You're.
I'm not a Pisces. No
sorry.
offense to Pisces. I'm a Libra.
Oh yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, so perfume, actually, it's an endocrine disruptor. I don't do it. I think it's toxic. But I do love when a man wears perfume, or sorry, cologne, not women's perfume. But you have to, like, if the cologne smells really sexy and you're not really sexy, I feel like that's manipulation. It has to match your face. I don't want to be turning around for some, like, bullshit over there. Like, you better, it's got to match what you actually look like.
I love that. So I've actually been wearing Burberry Brit since middle school. And
I know, it's very, like, warm, musty.
Yeah, yeah. And I had an ex tell me that I smell like a tacky hooker. So it just made me double down. And I will never wear any other scent. So that's me. Okay, must ask questions on a first date. I'll give you an example of one of my favorite questions. Controversial, but I love to ask, like, when was your last relationship? Or, why did your last relationship end? And I also love to ask, if I was going to ask, your ex, what would they say about you, kind of thing. And people are like, I can't believe you bring that up on a first date, but you know what? I think that it's important to not just have it be an interview, but more like an interrogation.
I was gonna say.
Okay. Aurora, what about you?
I agree.
Must ask question on a first date.
I always ask about the relationship with ex-partners because I think it says so much about somebody. Like, at one point, you are the common denominator if you hate everybody and everybody's been horrible to you. So that, and then, I don't know, what I really want to ask is, like, are you in debt? What's your credit score? But I don't. That's later.
The past relationship bit for me doesn't matter at all. It doesn't bother me. I think everyone's got a past, so, and we're all gonna talk ourselves up as highly as possible, even when we ask. I think about, like, the future and what they want and things that they like to do. I don't like an interview, which is why I think dinner's always difficult, because it feels like an interview. So an activity that's somewhat more playful and you can have a little bit of banter, and I need that banter there if it feels. I remember once I went on a date with, she was on paper the most unbelievable girl, and I literally felt like I was in an audition to be her husband, and I left there just, like, so emotionally drained by it. So just something fun and playful and keep it lighthearted.
Like pottery?
Like pottery. You sell me out. Yeah, like pottery. I took a girl on a date to pottery when I was last in New York a couple of months ago. It was a nice time.
It's cute.
Yeah.
What about you, Ken? Must
You
ask
guys
question.
have, like, really good first questions. Mine is always like, are you allergic to cats? Something like that, first of all, because I have 3 cats. And second of all, it's because it's like, I need to know. I feel like if you're allergic to cats, I'm like, you're kind of a pussy. Like, that? Like, are you allergic to nuts? Do you have a nut allergy? If a man has a nut allergy, like, we're not fucking.
That's an ick for
That's
you?
an ick. A nut allergy?
What? They can't
Like, men you throw to
control
war,
it.
and now they have nut allergies? Like, that to me is like,
I agree, but they can't control it. I feel
No,
bad.
like, get a shot.
You
I
think
don't
they
know.
You think they don't want to eat peanut butter?
no, they probably do, but something about it, like, I've never been with a man who has a nut or a cat allergy. But, like, when I had Hinge, it would always be like, are you allergic to cats? Because if it's immediately, like, unmatched. I don't care how hot you are. Yeah. But I do agree with, like, kind of asking, feeling about the ex-partner. Maybe for me, not on a first date. But what's, like, the quote? The opposite of hate is or the opposite of love is indifference, not hate.
Correct. So if they hate their ex.
If there's people that are like, I absolutely hate my ex, like, I get it. There's gonna be maybe like a one-off or whatever, but if someone is constantly talking about all their ex-partners, I hate them, they're terrible. Because, like, I've had moments with exes and, where you don't like them or you're mad or whatever, but I feel like at the end of the day, a lot of my exes, I'm like, it is what it is. Like, they're a good person, it just didn't work out. So if someone is so like, fuck this person, I'm like, oh, red flag.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. All right, let's talk about our cringiest dating experiences. Walk us through your worst, cringiest date moment with someone. Go for it.
I'm trying to think. It takes me a lot to get cringed out. I'm not like...
Well, okay.
Evidently, anaphylactic shock is an ick, so...
Yeah, there we go. I have
went out
bad
with
allergies. What if I'm sneezing on a date? Sometimes I walk...
Sneezing is okay.
I've got bad allergies.
I went on a date with a guy once, and we ended up going back to my place. It wasn't like the first date, but he took off his shoes, and his feet stunk.
Fuck, get him out.
Like, it
Send
was
him home.
so bad, you guys. Like, as if this guy had never even known what a sock was. Like, all of his feet were just, like, mushed into his shoes.
Oh.
And it was horrific. So I feel like that's cringe.
For how people treat my animals, for sure. Like, if it makes it back to you coming to my house, that's a huge, like, turn off moment. Like, if you're not like acting like they're little babies. To me, if someone just like is like pushing my dog away, that's like a gross cringe.
Wait, you have dogs and cats?
Oh girl, I got a farm at my house. I got 2 dogs, I got 3 cats. So my animals are like, those are my babies. So if
Yeah.
you're like kind of being weird and standoffish with them, I'm like, this isn't gonna work.
Cringy moments, guys?
Well, I don't know if this is really cringe, but on a first date, I ended up finding out that he was lying about his age. So that was very just
That's
like,
cringe.
okay, we're just.
What was the lie? What did he say and what was
So
he?
he was born. This is the thing that also he just shot himself in the foot because I don't care about age, and he could have just been honest. And he lied about like 3 years. I think he was like 42, but he told me he was like 39 because he wanted to be in the 80s and not have to say he's like 79 or something. I don't know. One of those. My math is probably off. But then when you learn that, because I think he showed his ID to the bartender or something. When you learn that there's just no coming back, like to lie about something so
Weird.
basic, it made me feel like maybe he was a serial killer or something.
Yeah, it's like, what else are you going to lie about? Anything. Yeah.
I don't know if it's so much of a cringy moment, but when you're on a date with somebody and they feel like they have to kind of like try and belittle you or put you down because they're trying to do that flirtatious banter.
Like the nag.
That
the
happened to
nag.
me
and it's like-
recently.
and it's like, oh, like,
So
I'm a
everything's
sensitive
a
guy. That's not
Right,
funny.
Right.
Everything's
Like,
a joke.
you're being rude.
Right.
now I
no,
don't wanna be here.
negging needs to stop.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, everyone, we're going to do this really fun game that you've all been waiting for.
Oh.
Thank you.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take it off. Take off your layers.
Take it off.
Take
One
it
time I
off.
don't have to take my clothes off. Let me be.
Okay, we're gonna play red flag, green flag. Everyone has a red flag and a green flag, and I will be prompting you. And I'll play too. Why not? Okay. Red flag or green flag calls their mom every day, sometimes multiple times a day.
Oh my God, I don't know. I really don't know. I'm gonna go red.
Yeah. Well, I think this is like not to get controversial, but
Do
I
it.
I
Do it.
feel like guys should not be doing this. Girls can do it as much as they
That's
want.
that's not fair. That's not fair.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this as a boy mom who wants her son to do this. I still think it would be weird. I'd be like, dude, why are you calling me all day?
Yeah.
What if your mum's calling you?
Then
Why is she so obsessed with you?
yeah.
'Cause I
No,
came
you're an
out of her
enabler.
If she's
womb,
calling you, well,
maybe.
okay, so you're Jewish like me, so you have
Yeah.
a Jewish mom,
Yeah.
and they call all day.
She might not call no, she doesn't call all day, but she'll always text me every day being like, all okay.
That's
She will
fine.
check in,
That's
and
fine.
then like we'll speak every other day.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine.
And I'm
All right.
gonna die on this hill. It's
Die
okay
on the hill.
to have a nice relationship with your mother
well,
that's healthy and not
Yeah, no, it's
codependent.
true. It's
That's
better
not
than the
nice.
That's
opposite.
okay.
Calling every
It's better than the opposite. And I see some moms in the audience. Okay, they take you to a party for your first date.
In your 20s, it kind of depends. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, if we're just
Yeah.
hanging out, I feel like my dating and dates are very different, you know? If we're just like, we just met on Hinge and you're like, hey, my friends are having a little pregame, you know, it's fine. But if we're like sitting down, we've been talking a lot, we're planning dates, I think it's weird if that's your first.
Aurora, why green flag?
I don't think it needs to be that serious. I think that if you already had plans and you're going to a party and you think it's somewhere that you would enjoy, that you know a date might have fun at, I don't think it's a big deal.
I don't know. I just feel like, why can't they just take 30 minutes out of their day to take you to coffee?
I don't
you
think
know?
it should be the whole date.
Yeah. Right. Okay, maybe like at the end. They have a 7-step skincare routine.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have a 7-step skincare routine?
Do you know what? So funnily enough, I was going to mention this story and then I decided not to, and I'm going to do it now. I was seeing this girl, whatever, we went on a date. She kept on going, oh, you're high maintenance, you're high maintenance. I was like, what do you, like, I'm not high maintenance. Anyway, we end up going back to my place. She goes into my bathroom and she sees my skincare and she comes out and she's like, you're high maintenance because you've got,
What are your brands?
I use
Spell 'em.
Claude Lee
I was
skincare and I have this like lip mask that I use as just a lip balm that's on the side, and she was like, if you have that lip mask, you're definitely high maintenance.
Yeah,
I was
she's
like,
right, she's
I'm
right.
not allowed to take care of my skin, but
No,
if I
you
have
are.
bad skin, then I'm equally, it's a red flag.
I had an ex who had like the Vino Perfect serum in there. I bet it wasn't theirs. I knew it wasn't. I was like, oh, when'd you get that? And he's like, oh, I love it. And I'm like, no, it's not true. It was somebody else's.
Yeah, it's exactly.
You know what I mean? If
for
it's
sure.
yours, it's like, okay, but to have somebody else's skincare, like that was fucked up. To see another
That's
woman's
fucked up.
skincare
That's fucked
sitting
up.
in his
Honestly,
His other girlfriends.
I respect if you're on TV and stuff, like you're gonna have a skincare routine. But if you're just like some average Joe, but you have like
Just can't take care of his skin?
yeah, no,
that's not
no, he's
fair.
not allowed to.
Guys out there, again, it's okay to take care of your skin.
I don't know. Just use Burt's Bees. Like you don't need lip balm. Okay, they've never seen Titanic. Red or green flag?
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah, like seeing Titanic is an insane like.
Like, watch it, don't watch it. We can cry together.
I don't know. I like when they've seen movies. Okay, no social media. Red or green flag?
I fucking love a man with no social
Me
media.
too,
you know?
girl.
It's not as simple as that, though, is it?
not.
Because they're still looking.
Also, if it's your identity that you don't have social media because you're so
Yeah,
above
fact.
it,
Right,
like,
right.
fuck
That's
you.
annoying.
Yeah.
I do hate when people talk about it 24/7. Like, well, I don't have anything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
it.
no. If
exactly.
they make it their personality, obviously get.
But
rid of
if they don't, they're still looking. That's the thing.
I
It's
don't
like,
know.
I
if
don't
Yeah.
think-
No, I
I've
don't
dated
think
men
they're
with no
looking.
social media, and I
Yeah.
truly think that like they don't give a like they don't.
They're just
lurk.
on other social media. Like my husband's not on
They're on
Instagram.
Snapchat sending dick pics.
And he's not on Snapchat, but he's obsessed with like Twitter and YouTube. So it's like he's getting something
Yeah,
from
he's getting his
somewhere.
fix.
Okay, last red or green flag. They don't listen to podcasts.
Loser.
Duh, go away.
I don't want my man having anything. I don't even want him to have a cell phone. I'm like,
I don't
put
want
it
him to
down. You
listen
don't
to
need
my
know.
podcast,
You don't need to know.
You're like, he better listen to nothing but my voice.
No, literally.
And in person. Okay, amazing. That was so much fun, guys. Give it up for this crew.
Thank you.
But we have 7 minutes for a Q&A, and I know there are some dating questions out there, so don't be shy. There are mics coming around, so raise your hand, and we will find you. Yeah, right there.
She's like, give me.
I know you're well known for your dating rules. What's one rule that you have changed your mind on?
Great question. So for anyone that didn't hear, what is your name? Christina asked what a rule of mine dating-wise I've changed my mind on. I used to have a hard and fast, if they don't confirm the date by 2 p.m. the day of, it's over, you're not going out with them. I changed my mind on this because sometimes there's a lot of miscommunication. They think that they confirmed the date because they told you on Sunday, but it's Tuesday. So I think there's a world in which you can confirm the date, but you shouldn't be like, are we still on? You should be like, see you tonight, exclamation point, because it just seems more confident. Any other questions for anyone in this crew? Yeah. Yeah, I can.
That's fair. So we all know that situationships happen, and they're not bad, but they might be a little good also. When is your like hard stop on when a situationship is just bad for you?
And feel free to answer, guys. If you want a relationship, a situation is immediately bad for you, I think, a situationship. But if you're just having fun, it's all fun and games until you get feelings. And when you get feelings, you have to end that shit.
I think just listen to your intuition, and when it starts to tell you to just run and get away. And I think as long as there's still honesty and you don't suspect there's lies, because if you do suspect, there probably is. And if it feels different from when it was when it first started, then it's probably time to find another situationship.
Or a girlfriend.
Or a girlfriend, yeah. This isn't advice for myself. This is just for the people.
Any other questions? Yeah, back there.
Okay, your friend is dating an asshole. Do you tell them or not?
Tell them.
Yeah,
Tell them.
absolutely.
Your friend is dating an arsehole. Do you tell them or not?
Like,
No.
you don't want this person at your
No,
house.
don't tell him.
You don't tell them.
You don't tell them because you might think they're an asshole and your friend might not, and then your friend might marry them, and then you have a very awkward relationship with your friend for the rest of your life.
What if they are noticeably like verbally abusing your friend and your friend is so blind to it?
Then you kind of do a check-in. Like, I don't know if you watch Summer House, but you know when Paige sat Amanda down and she was like, are you sure you want to do this? Like, do you definitely want to marry him? Like, you say it in other ways. Like, are you sure you're happy? If you're not happy, it's okay. Like, we can talk. If you ever, you know, are feeling like, you know, just check in. Are you happy? Do you feel good in this relationship? You know, or like use attraction rather than promotion in terms of your own relationship. Like, oh my God, I love that my husband compliments me, or my boyfriend's so complimentary. Is Joe to you? You know, like, but it's really hard to just, I think, be straightforward in case they end up together. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I'm not sure if it's an age thing, but for me, I feel like I'm like a little too opinionated, and I would have no problem being like, are we sure about that? Like, he said this, this, and that, and I don't know, like as a friend, I didn't really like that. I feel like if I'm picking up on stuff that's that obvious and that everyone in the room's kind of giving each other those looks like, oof, that was bad, I think someone kind of owes it to you to have a discussion with you and be like, hey, are you happy? Because we see it. You know, I think sometimes people are in the position when they're in a relationship where maybe they don't see it or they do, and they just keep putting that feeling down and down and down and thinking, no one's bringing it up to me, no one's making me aware of it, why would it be an issue? So I think, you know.
I think you're right. If you're younger, I think you can get away with it. I'm kind of speaking to situations where people are engaged or, you know, even married, and then it's like, you know.
I still think as a friend you have a right to tell that friend, but you just need to know that it might jeopardize your friendship with that person. And as long as you're willing to sacrifice that to do what you believe is the right thing, then I think you should stand up for your friend.
I also think that many of us have been in situations that we know are not good for us and we don't feel good in them, but have we ever gotten out of them because a friend told us that they noticed? It's always like we're going to ride that merry-go-round as many times as it takes to learn the lesson for ourselves. So I kind of don't think an outside perspective is going to do all that much.
That's, I agree with that.
Don't listen to me.
Yeah. You guys are right next to each other, so feel free to both ask your questions.
Yeah,
literally.
He's gonna be like, he's not that.
So to you, because you're married, what made you know that it was the person that you actually wanted to spend your life with or build something with?
Yeah. So the question was, what made me realize my husband was the person I wanted to spend my life with? Honestly, he felt like, so cheesy, but like he did feel like home in a lot of ways, and he felt very familiar to me, and he had every quality that I was looking for, and I was so nervous. Like, I thought he was too good to be true, and I remember I said to my therapist, I'm like, he's definitely too good to be true. I don't know what to do. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to fuck it up, this, that. And she was like, just strap in. And honestly, I did, and it was like he obviously isn't too good to be true. Like, I learned more things about him. He's obviously not perfect, but I really loved everything about him, and there wasn't anything I wanted to change. And I felt lucky to be with him, and I felt that he was lucky to be with me. So that was the recipe.
Do you feel like one person has to feel luckier, though?
Yeah, he should. He should, obviously. Okay. Of course. Yeah, the person that was right next to that person.
When is too soon to mention politics when you're newly seeing someone?
I feel like right now is like you cannot wait too long in our current climate in terms of mentioning politics. There's a few really funny TikToks about this, and it's like dating and trying to figure out, and it's like, oh, the election is so stressful. Like, are you stressed? Or like
pretty calm.
Yeah,
suspicious.
or like things are so crazy right now. Are you feeling like women are gonna be okay? Or like, you know, just like finding out kind of where they are, and you find it out really quickly. It's a good icebreaker right now. And honestly, you probably don't want to be with someone whose politics you don't agree with at this moment, I would say, in our lives.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I think we have time for one more. We don't really have time, but we're making the time.
The girl waving. Yeah.
But there's one over there too. Her. And her. I mean, in an ideal world, if you guys will stay.
I feel like as a woman with a big and full personality, men sometimes tend to get intimidated by that, and I'm probably dating all the wrong people, but like, how do you determine how much of yourself to show to someone without being like too much, but also staying true to yourself and like, you know, being able, I guess, to kind of see if someone meshes with you, but then there are also parts of yourself that obviously like, you're not going to show it first. Like, how do you feel out how much of yourself to give to someone?
I feel like I can speak to that because as a podcaster, I feel like oversharing is something that we are just working with all the time. I don't think you need to show all of your cards and show somebody everything about you, and including politics and all of your deep secrets and beliefs. I think there's something very organic and authentic about letting those things play out naturally over time, because truthfully, even if you did show 100% of your personality on the first date, you're not going to know a person until you see them in a variety of situations, which only time can give you. I think.
Yeah, I agree. I think as long as you're following the dating rules, you can show as much personality of yourself as you want. I think there's two kinds of men who are straight, and that's men who have an edge and men who want an edge, you being the edge. And you have to find a man who wants someone with a big personality, because there's a lot of them out there and they're looking for you. I don't think we have any more time, but that girl who had her hand up, I do want to hear your question. Just say it real quick.
Are y'all into polyamory? And if you are, why? And if not, why is it a boundary you don't want to cross?
Okay, that's a big one, and I'm going to say that Aurora has a lot to say about this situation, and you should listen to our podcast episode on We Met at Acme, because Aurora was married, and
I had an open marriage. It worked until it didn't. So I don't think there's anything wrong with it. And currently, I've learned that it doesn't work for me at this stage of my life. But I will tell you that that's why I don't go on first dates at restaurants with people, because what I'll do is I'll FaceTime. And most people I found are pretty upfront, including the man I married, who was upfront from the beginning about just not really believing that monogamy was something that he was capable of. Of course, I thought I could change him, which you can't. And a lot of men, especially in LA where I live, are into polygamy, and is it polyamory, or just, I don't know, there's a lot of, I'm not talking like Diddy sex parties, just like cordial.
I think polygamy is having multiple wives.
Oh, that's different. No, definitely.
But yeah. And you definitely should check out that episode, because she speaks on it very well and articulately, and she's amazing.
Oh, thank you so much.
And with that is our.
Wait, I want to hear if they're into.
Are you guys in it? Tell us quick.
I feel like, how did you know, like in your relationship, was it kind of like from the beginning that was the tone of like, this is eventually going to lead to that? Or was it more, you got to the point where you're like, okay, this isn't really working right now, let's try something new?
No, it was like he knew he could never be monogamous, and I thought what we had was so special, and that if he just needed that like outlet sexually, that like it wasn't something that was going to compromise what we had. But it wasn't something that I needed. It was something that I thought men needed, and I didn't want to be lied to, so I preferred him to just be honest with that freedom.
Yeah. I don't know how I would feel about like other, like being in like relationships with other people, but I feel like depending on where you're at in your relationship, I don't know, like I'm down to get freaky, I guess. Like.
Go off, queen.
Polyamory, I'm not sure about when I meet my wife and, you know, I want to settle down and have a family and kids. Being in a non-exclusive relationship where we both know that it's never maybe going to get that far, but we're enjoying each other's company while still exploring other people, I'm open to. But in marriage, I would like to be committed and be committed to.
I love that. Yeah. I say never, but enjoying my closed marriage at the present moment. And thank you guys so much.
Thank
Give it up for